What's going on, guys? Auzio here and welcome back to our brand new video. So today we've got a custom tactic video that everyone has been waiting for. I haven't done a custom tactic for over like 38 days. I usually do one every 15 to 20 days, but there's been a few packs that have screwed up a lot of tactics and have screwed up a lot of players. One, for me, especially this weekend league, Neymar. I don't feel like he feels exactly the same how he felt before, and that is obviously going to be a killer. I'm going to go into this weekend league not thinking about that though. I'm going to keep Neymar for one more weekend. If he performs how he did last week, Neymar will be gone, and for me to say that, it's obviously a big killer, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. A foot birthday Saint Maximum will 100% be staying. Robert Firmino, Sissoko, Daniel James, Bakayoko, Mendy, Rio, Ogbonna, Zambrotta, and Allison is my team. If you guys haven't seen Foot Champ highlights, link will be in the description for part 1 and part 2, and obviously Foot Champ rewards as well. Now, this Ogbonna card, I have enough to buy Van Dijk, but it's one of those occasions where he's been performing, but I don't know, I might actually get Virgil for this weekend, because Ogbonna does, like, he gets bypassed way too easily sometimes, and that does cost me quite a few goals, and Virgil van Dijk does not allow that to happen. So Virgil might be coming in this weekend, but let's look at my balanced custom tactics. Drop back, free width, free depth, long ball, full width, 4 players in a box, 2 corners, 2 free kicks. Literally, I use this tactics for I think a solid 5 minutes in game, and then it switches to my actual tactic that I will be showing you in a minute. But instruction on this formation is sweeper keeper, obviously on the keeper, same thing. Centre back, stay back while attacking, stay back while attacking. Stay back while attacking on the fullbacks. Cover centre, stay back while attacking on all 3 centre mids, okay? I can't tell you enough how it's important, especially straight off the bat, to put your whole centre mids on stay back while cover centre, simply because I don't want these 3 running out and then I'm going to concede kickoff goal. It just doesn't work for me, you know. Robert Firmino, stay central, and then obviously don't put any on the wingers. I never really found an instruction perfect for the wingers. I never thought stay forward was good. I never thought come back was good. I never thought like cut inside, stay wide, or even free roam. I never really enjoyed any of those. The support runs, you could obviously argue in the getting behind, come short, or target man, but the come short is one of the most pointless, for me, one of the most pointless instructions on the wingers, simply because you can just click RB and they will come short anyway, and LB to them to make a run. So I don't really like the get in behind or the come short or target man, any of that. But that is going to be my balanced tactics. Let's look at my tactics that I actually use. Drop back, 4 width, 3 depth. The reason I use 3 depth and not like 1 or even 5 or any of those is simply because 1 width is too deep. The players will allow, like, your defensive line will drop back, your midfield won't really, and it will end up being like a really tight situation where they can get in behind your midfielders way too easily, and they pretty much have a 1v1 chance against your defenders every single time. And also, the reason I don't play depth 1 is because they can shoot from anywhere pretty much. Your defensive line is pretty much like holding hand with the keeper, and for me, I don't think, like, I personally think it should just be there should be an automatic depth where you always stick to, because me putting 3 depth, I believe, is the perfect depth. I'm pretty sure I see a lot of pros that use it as well. 5 is way too high, 6 is even higher, and 1 is just way too low. Now, possession, the reason I play possession is because off the goal kicks, the left back or right back instantly comes short. So you're not in that tight situation where everyone pressures up and there's never like a pass to. And it's one of those occasions where I don't want to get tight, I don't want to get stuck at the back. So I put possession on, fullback comes short instantly, I spam A towards them, and obviously I get this situation where I'm pretty much wide open, and I could do pretty much whatever I want. And there is like a low-key, an exploit as well, where if you pass to your fullback, you click LB aiming at your winger, you tell Adama Traore or Daniel James, whatever it is, to make a run, LBY, if your fullback is good enough to pass the ball, obviously, he will end up getting it, and most of the time you do get like a low-key wide open goal. I don't use it too much. I don't like to use it because it's one of those ones where it's an exploit and it gives my opponent a disadvantage, a huge disadvantage, especially if they don't know it. So I tend not to use it too much. Now, the full width, 4 players in the box, 2 corners, 2 free kicks. The reason I have 2 corners and 2 free kicks is because I tend to be one of those persons where you pass short on most of the corners, so I don't really like to you know, cross the ball into the box. So if I go short, there's always going to be someone on the edge, and there's always going to be someone to pass to inside the box. I don't need more than two bars of corners into the box. Now, the 2 free kicks, I use that free kick tactic that I actually do have up on my video. If you guys haven't missed it, the link will be in the description for it. I use it every single weekend league, and I've actually scored, I think it was 3 or 4 goals from that this weekend league. Obviously, they're in for Champ highlights. It's a dirty free kick. It's a dirty free kick tactic, but at the end of the day, I never like flick the ball onto my player. So it's one of those occasions where I don't need more than 2 bars. Now, we do obviously go into the instructions. We once again sweeper, keeper, stay back while attacking on all 4 defenders. CDM, stay back while attacking, cover center. Don't put man mark or cut passing lanes, because what the man mark does and the passing lane does is it pushes your player out of position, then they'll find the gap fairly easily. Now, the cam roll, I do put comeback on defense. For the other cams, I do put comeback on defense. Now, this is not one of those ultimate defensive formations, because if you play it right, you run out with Saint Maximum and Daniel James to pressure the player. You hold RB when you're with like Robert Firmino, and Daniel James does pressure as well. So it's not one of those ones that everyone is sitting back. It's one of those ones where you're just pressuring your player into a mistake, hit the counter attack, and most likely it will be a goal. Now, I do only have stay central on my striker as well. Make sure to put not like stay forward or come back on defense. Let him free roam pretty much. Let him do what he wants, because Neymar is one of those players that if I do pick up the ball, he will always be the passing option. Now, we do go into our 4-4-2 tactic. I still have a 4-4-2 tactic. I was actually thinking to removing this one, but I did end up changing my ultra attacking one, so I'll get into that in a minute. Drop back, 4 width, 3 depth. Possession, once again, 4 width, 4 players in the box, 2 corners, 2 free kicks. And once again, 3 depth, not too deep, not too far up. Width, the reason I use full width is because I like to pass through the middle. The most effective way of scoring this year especially is down the middle. And if I could cover the middle against most players, I feel like I will have the best chance of obviously defending them and then going on a counter attack and obviously scoring. The reason I use full width in attacking is because, once again, the best way to score is obviously down the middle, but there is that little cheeky down the line thing that I use. And I use Adama Traore and Daniel James. I usually sub off Robert Firmino. He's there for pretty much chemistry, but he is a pretty decent player, to be fair to him. But I tend to just use Adama running down the wing, fake shot around the corner, pass it across if they are overloaded in the middle. But this is, yeah, it's just pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same tactics as the 4-2-3-1. Yeah, it's exactly the same ones. But we do go into the instructions. Obviously, stay back while attacking on both fullback and right back. Sweeper, keeper, once again. CDMs stay back while attacking, cover center. Fullbacks, do not touch your fullbacks, your left mid and right mid, sorry. Do not touch them. Okay, obviously you can see I got Robert Firmino there. I use Adama Traore, yes, I'm him off. But do not touch your left mid and right mid, simply because you can press with this and it will be a really, really good press. Not like one of those ones where they come back on defense and then you press. That just takes too long sometimes. Now, the Saint Maximum and Neymar are up front. He is on stay central. No stay forward or any of that, just to stay central. For me, I feel like that is the best, simply because they come short when they need to come short and they go forward when they need to come forward. Sorry about that, I just hit the mic, but we move on. Now, the 4-2-2 is my new formation, simply because I use this formation as one of those ones where I didn't really like the 3 at the back. The 3 at the back was one of those formations where they just pass around my midfield and then they pass around my defense and then they end up getting a goal all the time. So I said, nah, I need a new custom tactic. I need a new ultra attacking method. And I figured out the 4-2-2 is the way to go. It's one of those ones where it pressures the cams, pressure their fullbacks, and obviously the 2 strikers press their centre backs with the CDMs, they actually press the wing back sometimes, and sometimes they also cover the center. It depends what instructions you use. I tend to change this instructions on this formation quite a lot, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Constant pressure, I think that's 8 width, 9 depth. Long ball, I use long ball for this simply because I can get in behind with those little cheeky over the tops. Now, I tend to switch that sometimes because if the person is playing drop back, you're never going to get a long ball in. So I just go balance, I don't go possession. 8 width, I think that is 6 players in the box, 4 corners and 4 free kicks. Instructions are stay back while attacking, sweeper keeper obviously. Now, this is why I usually tend to change this. So instructions, if the player is playing down the middle a lot, sorry about that, you put stay back while attacking, cover center. If he's playing down the wings a lot, you just put balance. Don't do anything like, you know, mad. Just put literally balance, and then it should be easy as that. Obviously, you could put cover wing, cover center. It depends. Usually when it comes up to an opponent that puts like drop back, they usually like one wing more than the other. So what I also tend to do is, depending on what wing they do, I put cover the wing on one of them, then I put cover center on the other, simply because it just goes for like the pressure game obviously, and I need the ball as fast as possible because I'm most likely probably like 2-0 down or even 1-0 down. But yeah, this is my original formation, the original instructions on them. Stay back while attacking, cover center. With the cams, do not put anything. That is definitely a go-to. Don't put anything. Don't put stay forward. Don't put come back. Don't put any of that. You could obviously put like aggressive interceptions, but for me, I didn't really like it because what they would just do was like a cheeky over the top over them when they go to read the passing lane, and then they will just get out of the press easily. So don't put anything on the cams. With the strikers, you put stay forward, stay central. The reason I put stay forward this time is because I'm trying to get the ball as fast as possible pretty much, and I can't just put stay central because they won't actually go and press them. But with our ultra deep formation, it is, I believe, still the same formation as the last custom tactic video. Drop back, 2 width. You see how I still got 3 depth? I don't drop from 3 depth. That is literally it. You don't go 1 depth. You go 1 depth, you're going to get too far behind, and then they will end up scoring. Now, the possession, once again, 5 width, 2 players in the box, 1 corners, 1 free kick. With instructions, I do have no sweeper keeper this time on the keeper. Make sure you do that because you're going to be drop back anyway. You're going to be parked the bus, so no need to your keeper to come up and sweep anything. Ogbonna, stay back while attacking on all 3 centre backs. Left back, stay back while attacking. Right back, stay back while attacking once again. Stay back while attacking on all 3 centre mids, and come back on defense on 1 of the strikers, and on the other you put stay forward, stay central, simply because if I do get the ball, I'm going to actually go and waste time with that other striker. And for me, since obviously Neymar hasn't been amazing for me, I like to have the ball on Saint Maximin's feet better, and obviously he's amazing at dribbling. But a suggestion that I did read from the comment section was, if you don't have my players, what players would you tend to use if obviously you're using the 4-2-3-1? So the 4-2-3-1 formation is tend to be used as a formation that has obviously those wingers, that has the passing option down the line. So for me personally, I would tend to use a formation that has the formation that the players that have pace. So Ken, Adama Traore, Daniel James, you got those players that you obviously can play down the wing. Now, any player with pace and good dribbling will work down the wing. Sterling, headliner card. You got Douglas Costa. You got the foot birthday Saint Maximum, a person that is fast and has really high dribbling. I even used Messi down the wing. That's how effective it is. That's all you need. High dribbling, high pace. Now, in the centre mid role, I tend to use a 5'10", 5'11" player. That's what I like to use, simply because I like a cam that can hold up the ball, be like nice twists and turns, but also can shield off players. That's why I do have Robert Firmino there. What I tend to do is I use Neymar there and then Saint Maximum up top if I'm struggling. And you could obviously argue that's what you just went against. Obviously, Neymar's not 5'10", 5'11", but it's one of those occasions where I'm kind of forced to if it's like a really good player. But if it's not a great player, I like to use Robert Firmino in that formation. Now, in the striker formation, I like to use 5-star 5-stars, okay? Because they're unpredictable in what shot they can shoot at, and they're unpredictable with the skill moves. I tend to use the sombrero flick, the heel to heel, the scoop turn around the corner, the McGeady spin, the Berber spin, and the standing scoop turn. There's not much else I actually use other than those few skills, because those are the most effective skills this year. And you might be arguing, sombrero flick, when do you ever use that? I actually used it against a few pros a few chaps ago, and I did get taken out, but it didn't end up being a pen. Very unfortunate. I obviously could have won that game, but we move on at the end of the day. And the sombrero flick is so unreadable, because usually what happens is your player waits for you to, if your player is facing the right way, your opponent waits for you to do the scoop turn around the corner either way. And if you do a sombrero flick, you obviously go backwards, and it just completely screws up the centre back's animation, and you pretty much get like a wide open shot. I would say 8 times out of 10. But in the CDM position, I tend to use 2 big CDMs because of the interception reach. I did actually use Cyprian with Sissoko. That is also a way to go. I never ever advise you guys to use two small centre mids. So a 5'10" or a 5'11", a 5'9" and a 5'11". Do not use that. Okay, use a player that's 6'2" or above, and with like an N'Golo Kante. That is something I do advise. But please never use 2 small centre mids. It will screw you up. You will lose out on a lot of interceptions, and you will, concede goals. Now, for fullbacks, it's not that hard, to be fair. With fullbacks, I tend to use people like Mendy and Zambrotta, people with pace, people with strength, people that's got amazing passing pretty much, and just all in all, pretty decent on the ball. Now, you could argue I could have used Alexandro there. Obviously, I could have, but it's one of those situations where Alexandro doesn't feel amazing on the ball. I like my fullbacks to feel pretty decent on the ball. Alexandro's got that bulky body. He doesn't feel good at all. So I went back to my Mendy card because he felt obviously better. Now, with Zambrotta, it's the exactly same thing. Good at passing, good at pace, good at dribbling. There's not much to say about Zambrotta. Now, with centre-backs, make sure you use... well, I'm not using it right now. Well, Ogbona's got a little bit. But one player that has a bulky body in-game, PK, you got PK, you got Boateng, you got Virgil van Dijk, you got Hummels, you got so many options. It's ridiculous, okay? But then try to use him with like a thin body, because what the bulky body doesn't have is that sometimes they do feel a bit bad on the ball. So you can instantly pass to the person who has a thin body, aka Rio Ferdinand, and just dribble, pass away the ball. But that's what the kind of players I use, and that's what fits my play style. But if you guys did enjoy the custom tactic video, leave a like, leave a comment, and for now, peace.